Hey guys, welcome to a new PyTorch tutorial. Today we'll be implementing a style transfer application with PyTorch and Streamlit. So style transfer means that we have an input image like here, so this image with the door. And then we also have a so-called style image, and then we apply this style to our input image, and then we get a new output image with this style. So here, for example, this is kind of a mosaic style. And yeah, so this repository is in the official PyTorch examples repo on GitHub. And we're going to wrap this code into a Streamlit application and build a web app. So if you don't know Streamlit, then here's a quick overview. Streamlit is an open source framework for building machine learning web apps with a nice UI. And I already have a whole tutorial about this that you can check out on my channel. But this is not necessary because Streamlit is very easy to use, so you should be able to follow along today. So let's start, and the first thing we want to do is download this code. So you can go to the root directory in this examples repo and then download the code, so either with git clone or you just download the zip folder. And then we only need this fast neural style folder. And I already have this on my machine. So I have this here in this folder. And then the first thing we are going to do is we want to install the requirements. So I already activated a virtual environment, and I also recommend that you do the same. And then you can simply say pip install Streamlit. So, and hit enter, and I already did this in this virtual environment. So this installs Streamlit and all the requirements. And then of course we also want PyTorch. So I'm going to say pip install torch and torch vision and hit enter. And again, I already did this here. So now we are good to go. And now let's have another look at the repo. So here is the manual how we can get started. And they already provide some trained models, so we can download them with the script. So now we're going to run the script. So we say Python download saved models. And now this was successful, so we see we have a new folder here with the saved models, and they provide, or they trained the model with 4 different styles, and that's why we have 4 different trained models. So now we can start using them. And if you want to train your own model with your own style image, then here you need to run this command. So this is training a new model. And then when you have a trained model, you can run this command to apply the styling. So now the first thing I want to do is I want to move the saved models and the images folder into the neural style folder. So this makes it easier with the paths later. And now, so now we use this folder where we have our code. So let's go into this folder, neural style. And here we are going to create a new file, and this is our main.py file where we implement the Streamlit application. And then the actual code is in the neural style.py file. And so I already checked this out. And so if we are going to apply the style command, then this is executing the neural style file, and it's executing the Stylize function with some arguments. So this is the function we need. So we don't need the training function because we already have our pre-trained models. So let's just grab this command from the, or let's grab the whole file, all the code in this file, and let's create a new file, and let's call this style.py and insert this. And now we are going to remove everything that we don't need. So we could just use this file and just apply this stylize function. But what they are doing here is they are loading the model and then they are applying the model. So they do this in one function, and I want to separate this. So I want to have one function where we load the model and one function where we apply the styling. So then we can use this separately later, and we can use a technique that is called caching. So this means that if we already executed, for example, if you already loaded the model, then we don't have to do it again. So that's why I want to separate this here. So let's remove all the things that we don't need. So let's start down here and these functions, so we can remove this. So this is the stylize function, so we still want this. Then we can remove the training and the check paths function. But of course, we also still want the imports. So now let's create two functions, and the first one is called load model, and this gets the model path. And for now we simply say pass. And now let's grab this command. So this is loading the whole model. So let's copy and paste this in here, and then remove this additional indent. And notice that we are using torch.noGrad here, because now we don't need to track the gradient computation. So now here, instead of args model, we use the model path. And then there's also one thing that we should do in the evaluation. So we should set our model to eval mode, and then we return the model here. And they don't do it in their code, because when they train it, I noticed that here they already put it to evaluation mode before saving it. So that's why they don't do it in their code, but it's good practice to apply this whenever you want inference. So now we have our function that is loading the model, and notice that they also push it to the device. So they provide GPU support, so we want to do the same thing. So let's define our device up here, and we can say our device is the CUDA device if torch.cuda.is available, and otherwise we simply use the CPU. And then we don't need this anymore. So now let's create a second function. So here we apply the actual styling. So let's remove the args, and what we want here is, so we want to get the style model that we load with the first function. And then we need the content image, and then we also need to define the output image where it saves the new image. So now they are doing some transforms here, so we can leave this. And here, of course, we don't want the args, we simply want the input. And the scale is none by default, so we don't need this. And Then what we also want, so again, we want to say with torch no grad. And then this is the styling command. And then we also save it here. So let's grab this and put it up here. So first we apply our styling, and then we save it to the output image that we defined. And then we can remove all of this. So now this should be all that we need. So now we have our two functions to load and to style the model. So now let's create our Streamlit app. And for this, so we use the main.py file. And here, of course, we want to import Streamlit as st. And we also later need the image from pillow. So we say from pill import image. And then we also want to import our new style script here. So this module. So this is the imports that we need. And now first of all, let's give our app a title. So we say st.title and let's say PyTorch style transfer. And let's save this. And now let's open up the command line, and then we can say Streamlit run our main.py file. And this should start the Streamlit app and run it on our localhost port 8501. So here we have our app up and running, and we see it applied our heading, our title that we used. So this is already working. Now we have a web app that we can build. And the first thing we want to do is, so we want to have a selection box where we can select the input image, and also a select box where we can select the style that we want. So if you have a look in the saved models again, then here we have 4 different styles that we can use. And in the images folder, so here we have the style images that we need. And we have the content images. So this is the input image. And here I provided 2. So this is the one from the repository. And then I also pasted this cat.png in here. So this is just an image with a cat. And then we have this empty output images folder. And then later, this is where our model or our code writes the new file or saves the new file. So now let's start implementing the select boxes. And this is super simple with Streamlit. So we can just say our image equals Streamlit, and I want a sidebar and then a select box. And then the first argument is the title. So here I say select image. And then the second one should be a tuple. And here we have all the different choices. So our input images are called amber.jpg and cat.png. And now if we run this and go back to our Streamlit app and reload this, then we should see we have our sidebar here. So let me make this a little bit larger for you. And here we can select amber or cat. So this is working. So now let's create a second one. And here we want to select the style. So style name equals. And then let's copy and paste this. So again, we want a select box. And the title should be select style. And here we are going to use all the different saved models. So this should be the same name as this file without the ending. So we have the candy style, we have the mosaic style, we have the rain minus princess style, and we have the Utni style. So this is these are the 4 different styles. And whenever we select one of those entries, then this will be assigned to this variable here. So now again, let's rerun this. And by the way, you can go to the settings and then apply run on save. So this is kind of a hot reloading. So let's just use this. And now we see we have our input images that we can select and the 4 different styles that we can select. And whenever we modify something here, then our script reruns from the top, and that's why it changes those variables. So now what we want to do here is we want to load the model. So we need to open up this actual file. So we say our model equals, and then this is in the saved models folder. And by the way, you should be careful on Windows. So I think you might need a slash here as well, but I'm not sure. So I'm on a Mac and I don't need this. So now we have the saved models, and then we have the style name, and then we must use the ending, and this is .pth. So this is our model. Then our input image is going to be in the images folder, and then it's in the content images folder. And then we use the actual image name that we used. So this is the input image name. And for the output image, we say output image equals, and again, it's in the images folder. And then we use the output images folder. Then we want to have the style in the file name. So we say plus style name, and then plus a dash, and then plus the image name. So for example, if we use the cat image and the candy style, then our file has the name candy minus cat.png in this output images folder. So now we have all that we need. So now, first of all, let's show the input image to the user. And again, this is super simple with Streamlit. So first, let's write, and here let's write, and this is markdown style. So this is a H3 heading, and here we write source image colon, and then we show the image by saying image, and now we need a numpy nd array, and we get this with the pillow image function or class. So now we say image dot open, and then our input image name, and then we say streamlit dot write, and then we want to sorry, not streamlit.write, but streamlit.image. And then here we want our image. And we also say the width equals 400. And now we save this and go back to our app and reload this. And then we see this is working. So let's go back to zoom 100%. And then we see we have the image. So let me make this a little bit smaller. For example, here, let's use width equals, let's try 200. And then let's reload this again. And this is still the same. And now I see I have a typo. So it should be width and then I think 400 should work. So let's use this and rerun this. And now, yes, our image is smaller, so this is working. So now let's try this image, for example, and we see now it displays the cat image. So this is working fine. So now what we want to do is we want to apply these two functions, so load model and stylize. So for this, let's create a button. So let's say clicked equals Streamlit button, and the title of the button is Stylize. So now if we go back to our app, then we see we have this new button that we can click. And whenever we click this button, then the return value is true. So we say if clicked, and then what we want to do, we want to load the model. So we say model equals style.load model, and this needs the model path that we created here. And then we want to style it. So we say style.stylize, and then it needs the model, it needs the input image, and it needs the output image path. And it saves the image into this path, and now we can display it. So let's copy and paste this one. And here we write output image, then we load the new saved output image, and then we again display it. So now this is everything that we need. So now if we save this and go back, and let me reload this, and then click on stylize, and let's cross fingers. And this is taking a couple of seconds, and we see it worked. So now we have our output image, so this image, and it applied the candy style. And now, for example, if we still want the same style, but now we load another image, then what is happening, as I said, it is running the whole file from the top. So now it again has to load the model, but in this case we still want the same style, so it doesn't have to load it again. And for this we can apply caching, and this is very simple. We just have to also in this style file we have to import Streamlit and then we can apply caching simply by using a decorator, and that is called st.cache, and we use the same for the stylize function. So this is applying the cache, and this means that it only reruns this function whenever something changes, so when the input variables change. So if we go back, and so now if we apply, we have an error, of course we have to import Streamlit as st, and then let's reload this. And now again, let's try a different style. So let's try the mosaic style and use stylize. And now this worked. And now when we change the image to cat and we have a look at the code, then it doesn't have to reload the model because the model path with the style is still the mosaic model. So it doesn't have to rerun this function, it can simply apply the styling, and the same is true for the stylized image. So whenever we use the same input variable, so now if we use the same image and the same style, it already used this for mosaic, then you see this is immediately there because it's cached. And yeah, so now we have a very nice web app, and now you can play around with all the different styles, and also You can check out the repo again if you want to train your own styles. And yeah, you can have fun with this. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And if you enjoyed it, then please leave me a like and consider subscribing to the channel. And see you in the next video. Bye.